This week we're looking at a variety of ideologies and the thinkers that put them forward. We're talking about conservatism, liberalism, communism. Now, what's most important is you recognize that these ideas were put forward by men and women who looked out onto the world and foresaw a different future for mankind. Individuals who put forward ideas that would reverberate for decades and decades and decades to come. When we talk about Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels and the Communist Manifesto, we cannot think of the implications of this philosophy completely within the 19th century, but in a much broader period of time into the 20th century that those ideas carry forward. Ideas are nothing without the agency of men and women, but their inherent influence across time and driving forward and encouraging actions is undeniable. So when we think about communism and you read the Communist Manifesto, keep your own thoughts grounded in what this ideology would become in the 20th century in terms of its influence. For example, if we fast forward to Nikita Khrushchev in the 20th century, he took over power in the Soviet Union following the death of Stalin. Now, in June 1961, Khrushchev met with John F. Kennedy, the height of the Cold War in Vienna, to discuss tensions between the two superpowers. And at this meeting, Kennedy said that the Soviet Union was helping to spread communist revolutions throughout the world, and this was putting the two superpowers at risk of war. Khrushchev responded by saying, "If you want to blame somebody for communism, perhaps you should blame Germany. It's after all where Friedrich Engels and Karl Marx came from." But more seriously, he said, the Soviet Union is not responsible for spreading communist revolutions. It is the inherent inequality of man, the domination of the proletariat by the bourgeoisie. This is what leads to communist revolutions. He said that regardless of what the Soviet Union does, communism is the future. It is the inevitable historical phase that will follow what was taking place in the 20th century and had for many decades. Khrushchev was a product of Marxist ideology. He could not separate his own thinking from it. He was a product of the Communist Manifesto and his years under Stalin, another ardent communist. So when you read the Communist Manifesto, when you think about Karl Marx's message, you must keep in mind its inherent importance for the future. That Karl Marx saw the world like this: imprisoned masses, those toiling in factories with nothing to look forward to but bourgeois domination. Karl Marx said, perhaps most famously in speaking to what he viewed as the imprisoned proletariat, "The communists disdain to conceal their views and aims. They openly declare that their ends can be attained only by the forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions. Let the ruling classes tremble at a communist revolution. The proletariat have nothing to lose but their chains. They have a world to win. Working men of all countries unite. There could be no other way."